Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mitchell Breuer and we have a lot of news to discuss today. We have one driver that has announced that he is coming back to his team in 2021. We have one driver that is coming back to NASCAR for the first time this year. And we have one driver that maybe dropping a couple of hints that he will be returning to his team in 2021. So let's get into it with first the guy that's been causing all sorts of a ruckus on social media, and that would be Noah Gragson. Yesterday, Wednesday, Noah Gragson tweeted out a simple emoji, just a simple emoji, just one emoji, and it was a picture of a pen. But that pen caused a lot of discussion on where and what does this mean? Does it mean that he signed a contract extension with Junior Motorsports? Does that mean he is going to Cup? Is he going to be replacing Jimmy Johnson? That's a rumor that's been going about ever since Jimmy Johnson announced his retirement, that Noah Gragson was going to move up. Is he going to go to JTG? There's been a lot of discussion that Ryan Preece will probably be leaving the team at the end of the season, and maybe Noah Gragson, with that Hendrick connection, maybe he's going in and replacing Ryan Preece. Then, late Wednesday, early Thursday morning, Noah Gragson hops on Instagram Live to discuss the pen tweet just a little bit. And he didn't exactly say what it meant, but he talked about the pen that he used, the fact that he used the pen to sign a certain piece of paper in the North Carolina region, and that it was something that he never thought he'd do, and something that he's wanted to do his entire life. And this furthered speculation. I think a lot of people on social media thought that, okay, this is it. He's going to the 48. This sounds like a groundbreaking announcement. This sounds like he's going to Hendrick Motorsports to replace Jimmy Johnson. And for me, I never got on that bandwagon because, I just don't think Rick Hendrick is going to go after Noah Gragson with his stats. I don't think he brings a financial backing. I think if it came down to money, I think Bubba Wallace would already be signed to the 48 car because he's probably going to bring the most amount of money of any of the free agent drivers. And when it's been talked about, and there's been a lot, to Hendrick Motorsports' credit, there's been a lot of silence about what's going on with that 48 team. There's been rumors maybe the team's shutting down, maybe they're going to sign Noah, maybe they're going to sign Eric, maybe they're going to sign Brad Keselowski. Of course, the last one didn't happen as Brad Keselowski re-signed with Team Penske. So there's been a lot of silence about that. And the fact is, Noah Gragson's name, when you looked at tweets from whether it came from The Athletic, Bob Podkress, or any other of the NASCAR beat reporters, Noah's name never really came up in discussion. And to me, that was kind of the first red flag, is the second red flag, really, because he didn't have the results in Xfinity. He's not being brought up in the rumors by credible sources on Twitter, not just the random guys that hide behind a parody account. And he doesn't have that financial backing with everything that has went on with his family and Switch over the last year. You've seen a reduced presence with Switch. Obviously, that's not as big of a partnership as it once was. At least that's what I assume, just because that they haven't been on the car very much. So last night I was actually kind of puzzled because I didn't really think Noah was going to be moving up to Cup. I thought Junior Motorsports, and he had made a comment in post-race press conference, I believe it was at Atlanta when he finished second, and he had talked about how he was just looking for funding just for that ride at Junior Motorsports. He wasn't even talking about Cup, so that was another red flag, that it didn't look like that was going to be going to Cup. That Instagram Live, it really seemed like, that's the first time I thought maybe he's going to Cup. I didn't think the 48 because, one, I don't think Rick Hendrick would have approved him going on Instagram and just being this massive tease, which props to Noah if you're watching. I doubt you are, but hilarious stuff. Funniest thing I've seen all week. The fact that he talked about his pen for a good 15 minutes and confirmed that it was a ballpoint pen and showed the pen and just kept talking about this pen It was just hilarious. So props to Noah on that one. But then today he comes out with, or Junior Motorsports comes out with this video between him and Kelly Earnhardt announcing he's coming back to Junior Motorsports, which is kind of what I expected, but it was just very interesting the way that Noah went about it. But that is the breaking news of the day, that he will be coming back to Junior Motorsports in 2021. I think now it's kind of a big domino in the Xfinity Series, because now who's going to be coming back with him to compete in the Xfinity Series? Is Briscoe coming back? Is Cindric coming back? If those two don't come back, that opens up the door for maybe Noah Gragson to be one of the leading championship contenders going into 2021, because he is a championship contender right now, even though I don't think he's on the same level as Cindric or Briscoe. He's proven to be consistent. He's proven to be in the hunt for wins this season. So it'll be very interesting to see how that move works out. So we got one return off. Let's talk about another return that also surprised people this morning. Yesterday, GMS Racing came out with this very cryptic tweet that it was a math equation, and if you did the math equation, it ended up being the number 69. Nice. It was, and that's a running joke that a certain veteran NASCAR driver that's been away for a little bit by the name of Greg Biffle has been making a lot, saying that he was going to, I think there was one point he said he was coming back to drive the number 69 car as a joke, but that was a tweet that GMS sent out yesterday. And then this morning they announced that, yes, Greg Biffle is coming back to NASCAR to drive in the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series next weekend at Darlington Raceway. And I think that's a very interesting move. I think that GMS, it's been kind of a revolving seat in that 24. We've seen some young guys get in there. We've seen guys like Justin Haley get in there. And now you bring in Greg Biffle, and it's a fun one. I mean, it's throwback weekend at Darlington. Trucks weren't even supposed to be here at this track. Now they're here, and you get a throwback driver with it. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think Greg Biffle could go out and win. He won Texas. I mean, he didn't dominate that race, but he came out and he won Texas, which, more power to him. That was a very impressive win for him. And I think he could come out and be that dominant again. I don't know if he can be, we'll see if he can dominate, but I definitely think that he's going to be a guy to watch next Friday, I believe the truck race is. I'll have to double check that, but it's next week, and I think Greg Biffle's going to have a good chance. He had success in the truck series in a Chevy. I believe he won a championship in the truck series with a Chevy, so be interesting to see. Now, on to a little bit of intriguingness. I don't think that's a word, but we're going to run with it anyways. This week, NASCAR announced to the media members that they're going to be doing their usual weekly driver Zoom press conferences, and one driver that was on it was Matt DiBenedetto. Of course, that makes sense because he's in the playoff hunt, and people are going to want to hear about him heading into the playoffs. And he did talk a lot about the pressures of going into Daytona with such a narrow margin over the playoff cushion. But he did make some interesting comments that I think it seemed like a little bit of a hint that he might be coming back to Wood Brothers Racing. And the hot rumor has been that he might be getting replaced by Austin Cindric, because Cindric has just been lighting the world on fire in the Xfinity Series, and maybe Penske's going to want to move him up. Right now, his 3 full-time cars are full. It would be, I don't think anybody's really thought of them adding a 4th car, although it's not completely out of the realm of possibilities. But everybody kind of looked at that 21 and said, if Penske's going to move him up, that's going to be the car. And Matt DiBenedetto, who's not locked into a contract next year as of right now, hasn't signed a new deal. So it kind of made it seem like he was going to go in there, that it might be Austin Cindric going into the number 22 car next season. However, there's 2 times that Matt really made some interesting comments throughout this thing. And one was when he was asked about somebody had asked him about his emotions, how it compares to last year where he was battling, looking for a ride, versus this year where he's now battling to get into the playoffs. And he said,
I have two questions. The first one is sort of just, you mentioned what you went through last year. And so I'm sort of wondering how right now and this week is compared to what you were feeling and experiencing. Like, do you feel like your emotions are sort of in that same spot of nerves and like being unsure of where you are? Or, are you more relaxed, I guess, at this moment? How does that sort of compare?
Luckily, I don't think anything quite matches the emotion that I was going through around this time last year. So, when I was like just unsure if I had a job or anything, that was like, that was next level. So this situation is a little bit different, but, stuff like that, though, the example you just gave, my situation last year, all that is what's made me a lot mentally tougher. To come up on instances like this where there's a lot of pressure, a lot on the line, going into Daytona, which is crazy, and trying to make the playoffs, and your whole season basically rides on right now. All that would be, a lot of normal people would probably be freaking out and on edge, kind of like my wife is. That would be normal. She's having a normal reaction. She's kind of a basket case every day and having heart failure and just can't wait until Saturday night gets here just to, and praying every day that we make the playoffs. Those are normal human reactions to this type of stressful situation. And I think I've just been groomed and been through so much stress and crazy situations to fight to get here that being in this really tough situation has made me extremely mentally tough and prepared for something like this, to where I'm able to stay very focused.
Which I thought was interesting because technically he's going through kind of the same thing. I mean, it's not I think at this time last year it was confirmed that he wasn't coming back to Levine Family Racing, but it's not confirmed that he's coming back to Wood Brothers yet. And I thought to myself when he said that, I was like, that's really interesting. I think does that mean something's happening behind the scenes that we don't know about? Then he made another note, and he was asked just about the season in general, and he made a note of how him and the Wood Brothers are just getting started. And in the years to come, they have way more to continue to gain, and how there's a lot of great things to come throughout. A lot of great things to come.
Yeah, Matt, the iconic Wood Brothers coming back to Daytona, and do you feel a little bit of that? The Wood Brothers, the right place, the right time. I mean, a few years ago, they didn't even have a charter, and here they are finally, having a shot maybe at the championship. And you, I mean, a few years ago, I remember calling the race at Daytona when you were an ARCA driver, and that fun transition from what the Wood Brothers and both you have gone through to be coming back to Daytona and have a shot at a championship. How's that feel?
It's crazy. The timing of everything is unreal, and that's kind of the stuff I was talking about earlier, of so many things happening out of my control. The timing of all these things, like going to BK Racing, then the 32, and then the 95. Casey Kane had to step out of that ride and retire for me to have that shot, and then Paul Menard had to step out and retire for me to get the 21. I mean, all the timing, everything's worked out perfect, and to drive the 21 car is unreal. And yeah, it's a big deal for us to be, for the team, for the 21 team, for the Wood Brothers, for us to be, fighting to make playoffs would be an amazing accomplishment for, for us and for the team, most importantly. So, yeah, it's so cool to be having this opportunity. But I think, 2020 has been a crazy year, a lot of variables thrown in that we didn't expect. But I think us as a team are just getting started. I really feel like we have a lot of room for improvement still. I feel like we're just barely getting on our feet, to be honest with you. So I think, in years to come, we have way, way more to continue to gain. We're just barely getting going. And 2020 obviously threw a lot at us when we're a new team, new group, trying to work together. I was my first year with the team and everything. So I feel like there's a long ways to go and a lot of great things to come with us together.
That sounds like, to me, like a guy that seems pretty convinced that he's coming back next season. And I mean, of course, this could be all just a load of smoke that Matt's throwing out there just to that he's saying, just to try and push the contract negotiations in his way or something like that. But I don't know. The way he said it, and he said it so smoothly. He didn't say it without skipping a beat. He seemed like a guy that was pretty sure of himself. So maybe Matt DiBenedetto is back in the number 21 car, which would be interesting, because what would that mean for Austin Cindric next year? Does he continue to be in the Xfinity Series? With the pattern that seems, whenever you dominate in the Xfinity Series, you move up. Even if you don't win the championship, we've seen it with like a Christopher Bell. He didn't win the championship, but he still moved up. Cole Custer never won the championship, but still moved up. It's really interesting to watch and see, and I'm definitely keeping my eye out on that one. And if there is any breaking news that comes with that situation, or any of the other multiple rides still available in silly season, we will be first. We won't be, I don't know if we'll be first, but we will update you as soon as possible right here at this YouTube channel. And yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on all the big news? Are you surprised that Noah Gragson's coming back? Are you surprised Greg Biffle's coming back? Do you think that Matt DiBenedetto deserves another year in the 21 car? He's making the playoffs, but he hasn't won a race yet. I know that's a lot of people's contentions, even though I think he does deserve another year back in the 21, especially for how much he's improved the team. But that remains to be answered if he is coming back or not. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video, comment your thoughts down below, and yeah, tune in next time when we come back and talk about NASCAR again. Thank you guys for watching.